It's that time again. Main Man T. Back for the Bro Code Podcast. Produced by Kennedy Lucas.
What's good, fam? You already know what time it is. It's April 8th, 2025, and you're tapped into the Bro Code Podcast, the spot where real ones link up, break it down, and always keep it solid. So sit back, turn the volume up, grab that coffee or that crown, and let's get into it. Because when you're on the Bro Code Podcast, you already know we don't do fake. It's brotherhood, it's bold, and it's always all love. Let's talk sports. The Denver Nuggets fired head coach Michael Malone and said they would not extend general manager Calvin Booth's contract Tuesday, just days before the end of the regular season. David Adelman, the Nuggets lead assistant, will take over as head coach for the remainder of the season. The shocking decision to fire the coach and eventually part ways with the general manager who won a championship in 2023 comes at a time when the Nuggets, 47-32, have lost 4 straight games and are in danger of falling into the play-in. It has been a frustrating stretch for the Nuggets as 3-time MVP and current MVP candidate Nikola Jokic has tried to keep things together while Jamal Murray has been out for 5 straight games with a hamstring injury. There have been moments when players have shown emotions on the sideline, with even the normally calm Jokic displaying rare frustration recently while on the bench trying to sort out the Nuggets' struggles. The Nuggets have gone 11-13 since the All-Star break. When the Nuggets entered this season, sources told ESPN that there was growing tension between both Malone and Booth that grew into a Cold War. Since the team won the championship, the Nuggets have gone with younger role players, such as Christian Braun and Peyton Watson around the team's core of Jokic, Murray, and Aaron Gordon. Veterans such as Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown left in previous summers during free agency to sign bigger deals elsewhere. Malone had been with the team for 10 seasons, leading the Nuggets to their lone NBA championship. He had a 471-327 record. This decision was not made lightly. Josh Kroenke, vice chairman of Kroenke Sports and Entertainment, said in a team statement, and was evaluated very carefully. And we do it only with the intention of giving our group the best chance at competing for the 2025 NBA championship and delivering another title to Denver and our fans everywhere. While the timing of this decision is unfortunate, as Coach Malone helped build the foundation of our now championship-level program, it is a necessary step to allow us to compete at the highest level right now. Championship-level standards and expectations remain in place for the current season, and as we look to the future, we look forward to building on the foundations laid by Coach Malone over his record-breaking 10-year career in Denver. Booth was promoted to be the Nuggets GM for the past 3 seasons after Tim Connelly left for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Booth's first season was Denver's championship season in 2022-23. I want to thank Calvin Booth for leading our front office for the past 3 years, Kroenke said, and most importantly for helping put the final pieces in place for the roster that delivered Denver and our fans their first NBA championship. Calvin's knowledge of the game, his passion for scouting, and his long history as a player and executive in the NBA helped lift our organization to new heights, which we will continue moving forward. We are grateful to Calvin for his 8 years with the Nuggets and know his place in Nuggets history as our first championship-winning GM will be honored for years to come. Adelman, the son of former head coach Rick Adelman, has been an assistant by Malone's side for 8 seasons. He interviewed for head coaching vacancies with the Los Angeles Lakers and Cleveland Cavaliers last summer. Jokic now moves forward without the only head coach he has had for his entire career. There is no amount of gratitude that we can properly convey to his contributions since he joined our franchise in 2015. Kroenke said of Malone, "It is with our utmost respect that we would like to thank Coach Malone for the most successful decade in Nuggets history, setting the all-time wins record and helping deliver Denver our first championship." A celebratory mood carried Austin Reeves down the ramp at Madison Square Garden and into New York City night after a monumental road win. It was just after midnight on February 2. The Los Angeles Lakers, fueled by 60 combined points from Reeves, 27, and LeBron James, 33, had just knocked off a New York Knicks team that was riding a 5-game win streak. L.A. had done so without its best player, Anthony Davis, who had left the trip early to receive treatment for an abdominal strain. Me and Braun were talking in the locker room after the game, Reeves told ESPN. It was like, if we play like that and add AD to that, we could be dangerous. As the Lakers bus navigated through Midtown Manhattan traffic, Reeves pulled out his phone to scroll Instagram. He came across a post citing ESPN Shams Charania's report that the Lakers had just traded Davis and Max Christie, fresh off 15 points against New York, to the Dallas Mavericks in a deal for Slovenian superstar Luka Doncic. First thing, I was like, oh, this is false. Reeves said he got hacked. Instantly, Reeves' phone began to flood with incoming texts. The group message started going crazy, he said. AD texting the team group message was like, they traded me. And I was like, okay, AD is Bulls NG with us. He's a kid at heart, had his fun. He literally has a prank TV show. I thought it was one of those. Then he received a message from Lakers assistant coach Bo Levesque. Bro, Levesque messaged. Reeves called Levesque immediately. This ain't real, Reeves said, a statement posing as a question. I think it's real, Levesque said, sitting on the Lakers' last bus to leave MSG, about 15 minutes behind Reeves. I'm sitting right by Max. The tectonic shifting swap shocked the NBA, all to the career trajectories of two all-time greats in Davis and Doncic, and could prove to be a divergent moment in the fates of the two franchises in Dallas and L.A. Already it has reframed Reeves' role, who in 4 short years has gone from being an undrafted college prospect to L.A.'s third option, first behind the championship-proven duo of Davis and James, and now behind James and Doncic. L.A. is 26-8 when Reeves scores 20 points or more this season, and 18-18 when he doesn't. Beyond bearing the burden of establishing the Lakers' ceiling with his offense, his defense has often been a target for opposing offenses. With the postseason reputations of James and Doncic solidified, and their respective production nearly a constant, it's Reeves who is the Lakers' swing piece this spring. With a third ball-dominant star added to the mix, the 26-year-old Reeves' role and skill set could have naturally been duplicative and diminished. Instead, the team has elevated him to the same perch as the 26-year-old Doncic and James in both promotion and in practice. At L.A. Live last week, digital billboards advertising crypto, Com Arena premium playoff seating featured 3 players in bright gold uniforms, James, Doncic, and Reeves. And on the court, since Doncic's debut on February, 10 James, Doncic, and Reeves are the only trio in the league to each average 75 touches per game per second spectrum tracking. In the month-long process of the Luka Doncic trade discussions, of course, you're thinking about the players you may possibly have to trade in a deal like that. AD and Max Christie, Rob Pelinka, Lakers Vice President of Basketball Operations and General Manager, told ESPN. But one of the people I was thinking of the most in my head was just AR, because I knew how close he got to Max and AD, and I knew bringing in another primary ball handler would have implications for him. Traditional roster construction suggests balancing talent between the backcourt and the frontcourt is most beneficial, but Pelinka insisted he knew Reeves would be just as important in this new iteration of his team. And as indispensable as he has been for a Lakers team with real championship aspirations, how he performs in the playoffs will be his first real audition for his next role, Doncic's right-hand man, whenever the 40-year-old James calls a career. My theory is basketball geniuses that love to win find ways to work and click together, Pelinka said. And we knew LeBron was a basketball savant, wants to win at the highest level. Obviously, Luka Doncic, basketball savant, wants to win at the highest level. And AR is coming into his own there. He gets the game, he sees it. He can fit really with anybody. 6 weeks after the trade, L.A. was matching up against its recent nemesis in the Denver Nuggets, the team that has tormented the Lakers in the regular season and bounced them from the playoffs the past 2 years. And with only one starter available to play, it was Reeves. And Brian Reeves, Austin's dad, was tuned in from his home in Batesville, Arkansas, to his son's solo starring act. While Brian watched in the living room, his wife, Amanda, had the local news on in the bedroom, monitoring an ongoing tornado warning in the area. It was funny because she would be like, "Hey, babe, you might need to come in here and check out the weather," Brian told ESPN. And I'm like, I'm locked into this game. with James, Rui Hachimura, and Jackson Hayes leaving the team's trip early to return to L.A. to treat injuries, and Doncic watching from the sidelines in street clothes, Austin went head-to-head with the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic, and he outplayed him. Reeves attacked the opportunity to shoulder the extra load, slingshotting around defenders as he racked up 37 points, 13 assists, 8 rebounds, and 4 steals, the last one coming when he stripped the ball from Jokic in the final minute and sped down the court to score a go-ahead layup. Seeing Reeves' production, it would have been difficult to tell he was playing the second leg of a back-to-back to end a long trip, or that he had his left wrist heavily wrapped in ice after game the night before in Milwaukee, or that he was leading a group of players in Dalton Connect, Shake Milton, Christian Coloco, Markieff Morris, and Bronny James, who had barely played together before and have rarely shared a court since. I just want to win, and I feel like any time I'm on the court versus off the court, I have a belief I literally can change a game. Reeves, who played in all 82 games last season, told ESPN. The Nuggets used an 8-0 run in the final 48 seconds to escape a victory, but Reeves' performance stuck with the Lakers, including first-year coach J.J. Redick. Just 2 days prior, Redick had asked to meet with Reeves after he shot 3 for 14 in Brooklyn, and the Lakers lost to a hapless Nets team. The Nets game had followed 2 subpar nights for Reeves, in which he'd gone 4 13 in an OT win against the Knicks and 5 for 12 in a loss to the Celtics 2 nights later. It was basically like, you're too good to have a blank stare on your face in a game, Redick told ESPN about the check-in. And you're too good to be shooting poorly and playing poorly and not have any leadership on the court. You're just too good. You can't get away with that anymore. You're too important and you're too good. And he took that well. Redick has met with Reeves at several critical junctures throughout the season, after Reeves scored 38 points against the Brooklyn Nets on January 17. Redick sought to reinforce Reeves' approach. Some ownership on the court, some leadership on the court, needing more of that. Redick told ESPN of their conversation. Late last month, the Lakers had lost 4 or 5 games and were struggling to recapture their mid-season momentum heading into a crucial slate of games, starting with a visit to the Memphis Grizzlies. Redick met with Reeves, Doncic, and James together, imploring the 3 offensive leaders to play with more force, pace, and creativity, particularly in the half court. Their combined capabilities should always make defenses uncomfortable when they work together. Exhaust every option, he told them. The meeting was just still trying to build that chemistry amongst the 3 of us. Reeves said, in the 5 games since that meeting, the Lakers are averaging 121.7 points per 100 possessions when Doncic, James, and Reeves share the court, going 4-1. By every measure, Reeves has already maximized the expectations put on an undrafted player. In Friday's win over the New Orleans Pelicans, Reeves scored 30 points for the 4th time in his past 5 games and set a franchise record with 15 three-pointers in a 2-game span. He's the best undrafted player since Ben Wallace. And that guy's a Hall of Famer, a Western Conference executive told ESPN. Even with Doncic on the team, Reeves has consistently had the ball. His usage rate since February, 10 is 23.6%, higher than it was from the beginning of the season through December, 28 before L.A. Traded point guard D'Angelo Russell to the Nets for Dorian Finney-Smith, 21.8%. And Doncic's addition has made opponents assign their strongest defenders to him, allowing Reeves to feast on more favorable matchups. In the 2 games against Chicago in late March, Reeves was guarded by either Kevin Huerter or Kobe White on 78 possessions, while Doncic was manned by Josh Giddey for 71 possessions per second spectrum. 2 days after that second Bulls game against Houston, Doncic faced Amen Thompson for 33 possessions, while Reeves was defended by Fred VanVleet for 34. As a result, Reeves has become even more assertive on offense. He has averaged a career-high 3.1 isolation plays per game this season and 4.5 SOs per game since Doncic arrived. Reeves has proved he's a legitimate NBA player. His next challenge is establishing himself as a core piece on a championship team, and that he's worth the requisite investment. The 4-year, $54 million extension Reeves signed in 2023 has become one of the best value contracts in basketball. He is eligible to sign a 4-year, $89.2 million extension this summer, which would replace his $14.9 million option year in 2026 to 27 with year one of the extension. He could also wait until the summer of 2026 when he'd be eligible for a 4-year, $98 million extension, or opt out the final year of his contract, become an unrestricted free agent, and be eligible for 25% of whatever the salary cap is set at for 2026 to 27. In any case, the Lakers want to maintain their stake in the Austin Reaves business. The way he plays the game, fights for every ball, sacrifices his body. When you see something like that, you can't help but get drawn in and cheer for them, Lakers Governor Jeannie Buss told ESPN. And he was that from day one. He just keeps proving himself over and over and over again. We're just lucky to have him. Reaves is used to proving himself and breaking down stereotypes. You know, as a white guy in the NBA, I sometimes look at white players and I'm like, they're not very good, Reaves told ESPN. So, it's a stigma that I think is real. Redick, who played 15 years in the league, understands. I think every guy in our shoes has experienced some level of this where you're going to be tested, Redick told ESPN. And truthfully, no matter how many times you pass that test, you're going to be tested again. Reaves passed that test with James during training camp of his rookie season, when he was originally signed to a 2-way contract. I saw that early, man, James told ESPN. When we picked him up, I went back and started watching his Oklahoma highlights and stuff, and seeing the way he could handle the ball and his creative side to be able to create shots off the bounce. His competitive fire, his drive, I could see it. I could see he had a spirit about him. He had an energy about him. Pelinka said by the time James hosted his minicamp before the start of training camp that year, Reaves had shown that he belonged. You could just tell the game clicks for him, Pelinka said. He has that utility about him. And I remember as we were making roster cut decisions, even say to LeBron, I think he's the one. We have an open roster spot. And I just remember quickly LeBron was like, I totally agree, so you can just see it. There's something about him. Donic's arrival meant another power player Reaves had to impress, and he wasted no time doing so. Basketball-wise, I already knew he was that good, but just being around it and seeing him do that, it was a higher realization. Donic told ESPN of watching Reaves score a career-high 45 points in a win over the Pacers shortly after the trade deadline. I mean, the expectation is that high. I think he has the potential to be an amazing player. He already is. The Lakers' spot in the loaded Western Conference is tenuous, with 4 regular season games left, a road back-to-back against Oklahoma City and Dallas, followed by a home game against Houston and the road finale in Portland. They have a 1.5 game lead on Denver for the 3 seed, but could still finish anywhere from 3rd to 8th. ESPN's BPI gives the Lakers an 82.3% chance of securing the 3 seed. Still, this can't compare to the jam the team faced in early December, a 4-game trip in which L.A. lost the middle 2 games against Minnesota and Miami by a combined 70 points, capped a 2-7 stretch. At that time, it was Reaves who lifted the team out of its funk. He'd missed the trip because of a left pelvic bruise, staying in L.A. to rehab when the team returned. There was a rare reprieve in the schedule because of the NBA's in-season tournament. The Lakers hosted the Trail Blazers on December 8 and then didn't play again until December 13 in Minnesota. Redick used the week to return to the practice court, hoping to salvage a season that was starting to get away from him. The Lakers were 10th in the West and falling. I just remember when everybody got back, everybody was kind of just in a fog. Reaves said, so I randomly was like, F it, I'm going to put a headband on and see if I can make somebody smile. Reaves is long known his messy brown hair flopping up, and over the white fashion accessory came off as more court jester than GQ. But he was okay with that. It definitely was a tough time for us, Lakers forward Jared Vanderbilt told ESPN. Coming off of that road trip, it was pretty nasty, so it kind of lightened the mood up a little bit. But that's just him. He's a good guy, good teammate. Always positive and just being a light and a joy to our team. He has kept it on since, and L.A. has gone 34-19. Reaves had a headband on when he scored a last-second layup, to beat the Golden State Warriors on Christmas Day. He had it on when he had his career night against the Pacers. He had it on when his dad tuned in to see him battle a three-time MVP. He had it on when he scored 31 in a win in Memphis last week after Redick gathered him, James and Doncic, for that meeting to get on the same page offensively. I think for all three of those guys, they all have an understanding, Redick said. Those two guys trust AR for sure. 2 days before the team took the court in Memphis, L.A., lost a shocker in Chicago when Giddey hit a half-court heave at the buzzer. In the visitors' locker room at FedEx Forum, Reeves noticed James had a new look. He had a headband on, too. He looked at me and said, "Oh, you wear a headband?" James said. I said, "Yeah, S, I've been a little bit out of rhythm. I need to change the energy in this B." And I said, "It worked for you. If the Lakers hope to make a long playoff run this spring, they'll need Reeves to maintain the level of play that has fueled the team's rise up the Western Conference standings. The stuff he's been doing the last couple months has been amazing," Vanderbilt said. "He's damn near kind of transitioning into one of our captains. Obviously, we got Bron and Luka, but they keep giving him more responsibility, and he's proving it time and time again that he's built for it." Now, let's change gears to hip-hop. Tony Yeo described G-Unit as a militant movement when traveling within the United States, as Big U awaits trial for alleged racketeering. Tony Yeo has a very long history with G-Unit, something that still pops up today as he has to assume rap beefs on behalf of his colleague 50 Cent and his many feuds. As such, it seems like he maintains a very in-house, tight-knit, and distrusting attitude when it comes to collectives movement in the United States. Recently, Yeo appeared on Vlad TV for another interview with DJ Vlad, in which they spoke on the Eugene Big U Henley RICO case. For those unaware, law enforcement arrested him, Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, and various others for alleged racketeering and other crimes supposedly connected to the rolling 60s neighborhood Crips in Los Angeles. During their discussion on the matter, DJ Vlad and Tony Yeo spoke about the divisive practice of checking in, which is basically a street code in hip-hop culture that prompts folks to contact any given city's community when they travel to it. Tony alleged that G-Unit never checked in when they went to other states, as they did not want involvement in any alleged crimes or risk any extortion attempts. This particular tradition in hip-hop and street culture became a huge debate thanks to the Big U RICO case, which doesn't have a trial start date yet as of writing this article. His next court appearances are an April 8th arraignment and an April 10th detention hearing. So we will see if any more bits of information or allegations emerge. Tony Yeo basically called checking in a risky practice that can cause more problems than they solve, which is why G-Unit supposedly kept a militant attitude to out-of-state security. The debate runs much deeper than that. Elsewhere, Tony Yeo commented on other legal matters in this most recent interview with DJ Vlad, such as his recent evisceration of a woman who allegedly made a fake 911 call that led to the tragic death of young Scooter. That situation remains pretty vague and nebulous at press time, so we will have to see what comes of it. In any case, he has a pretty staunch and skeptical approach when it comes to checking in and being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Next, I'd like to talk about Kanye West. Kanye West has not had the most glowing things to say about Travis Scott lately. So how does La Flame feel about it? Throughout the 2010s, Travis Scott and Kanye West were a pretty inseparable duo. They made a lot of great music together for each other. From reference tracks to collaborations and producing, they were always making heat. However, their relationship is a bit strained nowadays, especially on Ye's side. He hasn't had the nicest things to say about the Houston rapper and visionary. He's felt like his protege has betrayed him, something he expressed during one of his several Twitter rants over the last 2 months. Speaking of those, one Kanye's earlier tirades seemingly was too much for Scott to handle. Kanye West has not had the most glowing things to say about Travis Scott lately. So how does La Flame feel about it? Throughout the 2010s, Travis Scott and Kanye West were a pretty inseparable duo. They made a lot of great music together for each other. From reference tracks to collaborations and producing, they were always making heat. However, their relationship is a bit strained nowadays, especially on Ye's side. He hasn't had the nicest things to say about the Houston rapper and visionary. He's felt like his protege has betrayed him, something he expressed during one of his several Twitter rants over the last 2 months. Speaking of those, one Kanye's earlier tirades seemingly was too much for Scott to handle. But with all of that, Travis has yet to address any of what his family member, figuratively and literally, has said about him. That is until just moments ago when Complex dropped their featured interview with Scott. Based on their question about how his relationship with Ye has developed over the years, this interview took place shortly after they partied after the Grammys, aka when Ye was still on good terms with him. But Scott had nothing bad to say even when his friend was starting to crash out on social media. Of course, this answer may not hold the same weight now, but it sounds like things were just fine. SH*T, man. That's my kid's uncle. That guy took me in when I was young, when I was like 19. He taught me a lot about music. And not even just taught me, but he allowed me to experience the creation of music, to create music with him. It's what helped me grow, making a lot of beats. Whether it's writing and collabing on music and film or clothes, or whatever the F***, CK it is, just constantly learning. Scott went on to touch on a bevy of other topics, including his upcoming album, Jack Boys 2, and even Sheck West's next LP. He hasn't revealed a date yet for any of them, but it should be a lit summer for sure, we predict. In other news, the Nike SBX Air Jordan 4 Navy is dropping soon on SNKRS, and rumors hint an exclusive access release. The Nike SBX Air Jordan 4 Navy is gearing up for a big SNKRS release later this week, while an official announcement is still pending. Sources suggest that Nike may use the exclusive access system, echoing the approach taken with last year's Pine Green launch. This strategy rewards dedicated users, offering them an early chance of purchase before the general release. This collaboration blends skate culture with basketball heritage. It's a continuation of the evolving relationship between Nike SB and Jordan Brand. The Air Jordan 4, originally designed by Tinker Hatfield in 1989, has proven to be more than just a basketball shoe. Its sharp design, layer construction, and supporter build make a perfect base for SB tweaks. The Navy colorway follows a successful SB X Jordan 4 formula, featuring skate-friendly materials and subtle color hits. It maintained performance functionality while giving skaters and collectors something fresh. Expect the hype to build as release day nears. Based on the photos provided, the pair features a crisp white leather upper with navy blue overlays. Hints of red appear on the tongue branding, while the gum-out sole keeps the skate ready. The clean SB heel tab completes the crossover look between hoops and street. This Nike SBX Air Jordan 4 Navy features a premium white leather upper with deep navy accents on the wings, heel, and midsole. A clean gum rubber outsole offers traction for skaters. Red Jumpman branding appears on the tongue, contrasting the Navy SB logo on the heel tab. Mesh paneling, padded collars, and durable overlays round out the design, balancing skate functionality and Jordan heritage. Sonic the Hedgehog fans should mark their calendars for May 8th, as that is when Sonic Rumble will finally go live. Sonic Rumble is the first Sonic game developed by Angry Bird Studio Rovio Entertainment after being acquired by Sega in 2023, and it will be available on Windows computers, as well as Android and iOS-compatible devices. Combining the characters of Sonic and the frantic multiplayer battle royale gameplay of Fall Guys, Sonic Rumble pits toy-like versions of the Blue Blur and his friends against each other in fast-paced challenges and mini-games. Sonic Rumble was first announced last May and was previously available to play in a closed beta at the end of that month. It was originally supposed to launch in full at some point between late 2024 and early 2025, with February 28th, 2025 being used as a placeholder. However, it was later announced that Sonic Rumble had been delayed until sometime in the second quarter of 2025, and now fans looking forward to the game's colorful antics know exactly when to power up their mobile devices for a blistering battle royale. Earlier this week, it was announced that Sonic Rumble will launch globally on May 8th. This news was heralded by a new Sonic Rumble gameplay trailer that featured Sonic's longtime arch-nemesis Dr. Eggman seemingly playing with a diorama of Sonic and his friends. He tosses in a model of his fish-like Chopper Badnik, which manifests in-game as a gigantic obstacle trying to devour players as they jump through a course. Other scenes of Sonic and company battling robots and racing toward goal rings play out as the trailer reveals Sonic Rumble's now confirmed launch date. Excitement for Sonic Rumble has been fairly high among fans, especially since it was revealed that the game won't feature any of the pay-to-win or gacha mechanics that have proved divisive in other free-to-play multiplayer titles. Back in February, Rovio announced a content map for Sonic Rumble's initial launch period, featuring a new competitive game mode and special skills for each playable character, among other exciting updates. Pre-launch registrations for Sonic Rumble have been available since last December, and devs have promised that some of the limited-time bonus cosmetics will return after the game is released in full on May 8th. Sonic the Hedgehog fans can also look forward to Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which is also set to blast onto the gaming scene sometime later this year. Of all the launch titles for the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2, Mario Kart World could very well be the most highly anticipated, or at least the most broadly anticipated. Since its inception, the Mario Kart series has been defined by its accessibility to newcomers, coupled with a high skill ceiling. Mario Kart is a perfect example of a game for everyone. Finely tuned to make competition just challenging enough to reward mastery, but with unexpected elements that can level the playing field. Chief among these unexpected elements is the infamous blue shell, an item that hones on whoever is in first place. The shell is more likely to spawn for those toward the back of the pack, which makes it a nice equalizing factor, giving those who fall behind a chance to even the odds. It may seem like a small detail, but any experienced Mario Kart player will admit that the presence of blue shell can redefine the dynamics of any race, making it a vital ingredient in the series formula. The power-up will be returning in Mario Kart World, but a new ability has a potential to completely alter its effectiveness, for better or worse. During a recent Mario Kart World Nintendo Treehouse showcase, it was revealed that a feather item can be used to dodge blue shells. It doesn't simply grant immunity to the targeted player. The Nintendo employee behind the wheel actually failed to get the timing right in the demonstration, but it's still significant. It would appear that this feather item, when activated at the right moment, can nullify the effect of the blue shell, allowing the leading player to retain dominance. The effect that this might have on Mario Kart World races could be revolutionary. While Mario Kart 8 players have some options at their disposal for avoiding blue shells, such as a perfectly timed horn attack or mushroom boost, these techniques are difficult to pull off. Moreover, the arrival of the feather expands Mario Kart World's defensive options, making it more likely that a leading player will be able to avoid the devastating blow of a blue shell. This gives skilled players an invaluable tool, but it could have problematic runoff effects on the game's broader competitive design. Mario Kart World's feather item has to be a balancing act. As previously mentioned, the Nintendo Treehouse demonstrator, who first revealed the existence of the feather in Mario Kart World, failed to time the dodge correctly, resulting in them getting hit by a blue shell. This player demonstrated mastery over Mario Kart's other mechanics during the rest of the demonstration, so their failure in this regard suggests that the timing for a feather-based dodge may be particularly stringent and hard to execute. This is a good sign, as it indicates that the feather won't just be an easy-to-use shield against the equalizing measure that is the blue shell. But that might not be enough. After all, the most experienced Mario Kart players tend to be the ones in first place, and proper use of the feather would just be another mechanic for them to master. This could result in Mario Kart World favoring experienced players a bit too much, while the series has always been designed around accessibility, and the notion that anyone can win a race if the stars align. Making the feather hard to acquire or introducing other drawbacks could be an effective way to keep the game balanced around this philosophy. That's a wrap for today's episode of the Bro Code Podcast, April 8th, 2025. Mark it down. We chopped it up, kept it solid, and like always, we stayed 10 toes down on the truth. If you felt the gems we dropped today, go ahead and share that love. Tag your homies, tag your girl, tag your mama if she cool like that. And remember, the code don't break. The code don't bend. You live by it or you don't touch it at all. This is your host, Terry Lester, signing off like AG. Until next time, keep your circle tight, your mind right, and your hustle louder than your haters. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace, love, and respect. Stay true to the bro code. Let's get it.
It's that time again. Main Man T. Back for the Bro Code Podcast. Produced by Kennedy Lucas.